Hi everybody, welcome to our Monday afternoon Q&A with Coach Rebecca Facebook Live session. I'm Rebecca Smith. I am a high performance coach specializing in work with athletes age 8 to 18 on the mind-body connection. And I do this in a couple of ways. One is through one-on-one coaching via Skype or FaceTime, and the other is through the Perform Happy community, which is my online mental toughness training center that has Olympians, world champions, recreational athletes, elite athletes, professional athletes, all together learning my system for overcoming fear and mental blocks and for unlocking the flow experience. So if you want more information about that, you can always go check out performhappy.com. It's a great way to do a lot of what I do with, high-paying athletes for a fraction of the cost. And that's something I wanted to provide for people who really want to succeed in sports but don't necessarily have the budget to do one-on-one coaching. So I'm hoping to build a phenomenal community there for you guys, for anybody who needs it. So today I'm going to answer a question that comes from a coach, but this is something that parents can benefit from, even teammates. If you've got an athlete that sounds like this person I'm going to describe, then this will give you some good tips on how to handle them. All right. One quick announcement before I fully dig into the question. I just totally redid the Perform Happy community, and I'm getting ready to open the doors to a select few people to join me on something that I call Mental Toughness Boot Camp, and that's going to happen in about a week. I'm not letting anybody in yet because all of my existing members, I'm letting them go in and play with the new software and get in and have a good time with the new stuff and make sure that it's all perfect. And then when we're all set and they've had a chance to get all of their needs met, I'm going to invite in 30 people, only 30 people. I'm only giving it a week because then we're starting this live weekly mental toughness boot camp training for a month. So if you want to get on the wait list, you can do that now at completeperformancecoaching.com/waitlist so that I can let you know right when we open those doors, and then it'll give you a better chance of getting in. And the first 5 people get a special bonus. So if you have been kind of on the fence, next week is going to be the time to finally dive in and get yourself in. And of course, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you show up and you don't like it, you get your money back. I always offer that because I don't want people in there that aren't loving it and really participating. Okay, now to the question. Comes from a coach, and Jennifer asks, I have a gymnast who's been struggling for a few years and now fear is in every event. She will not take positive comments. I've done so many things you've suggested. What else can I do? So what I'm going to do is answer that question and then also kind of answer broadly, how do you deal with an athlete who is stuck in the negativity? And if you're a parent, if your kid's in the negative zone, it's super frustrating. If you're a coach, same deal. If you're a teammate and you've got this Eeyore on your team, it can be very difficult to know how to navigate it. So I'm going to give you my top 7 tips for dealing with negative Nancy, so to speak. All right, tip number 1, and this is the first thing that I teach in the community in an exercise that I call neutralizing negativity. And we first dump out all the negativity. We just get it all out. And then I help people to flip it to the facts. So we as humans are naturally inclined toward being negative. That's part of our survival instinct. If you were not negative, then you would fall into holes and not realize that you had weaknesses. But if you're more, hi Heather, thanks for joining us. If you're more negative, then you'll know what your weaknesses are. You'll know that you are not good at running fast, so you'll climb a tree to get away from the tiger. You'll know what your weaknesses are, and you'll know the weaknesses of your young, the kids you coach or the kids that you raise, because you'll know where their weaknesses are so that you can try to help fix them. That's part of all of our survival instinct, that we're supposed to hone in on the negative. So what I recommend, the first tip is leaning on the facts. So you go, all right, I'm not good at this, whatever that negative comment is that they're kind of cycling through their head, you help them figure out what are the facts. You're getting better. You're improving. You've done it before. You kind of get out of that, but it wasn't good, but I didn't like it, but it could have been better. You get rid of the judgments on self, on others, and you just really zero in on what are the facts you can't argue with. And if you can help somebody who's negative kind of like at least move into the neutral zone rather than being in the negative zone, that can really help. Versus if you try to go positive, like, it's going to be fine, you're going to be great, then they just are going to argue with you. So just like stick to the facts. Don't try to be a cheerleader. Don't try to even be positive. Just try to be factual. Okay, and then number 2, which I kind of teased a little bit, is that humans have a tendency to go negative. And that like defiant, whiny, unmotivated, disrespectful kid, that angry, demanding kid, has got to have some positive sprinkled in. So if you at least know that humans have a tendency to go negative and you've tried leaning on the facts, then the next tip, the third one, is to try to know that you'll see what you're looking for. I always use this example of when I was pregnant, I saw pregnant ladies everywhere. I remember going to Target and was like, oh my gosh, the entire world is pregnant right now. There are kids everywhere, babies everywhere, kids, pregnant people, because that's what was on my mind. So I was seeing that. And I noticed with kids, especially kids who get really frustrated with a negative coach, for example, all they see is the negative. The coach said this, and look, they're being negative again. And look, oh my gosh, again, can you believe? And the same with the kid. If you see this kid that's always kind of like has a bad attitude, you're going to keep looking for that because that's what's on your mind. So if you can start treating this person like the person you want them to be. For example, if you're like, oh, there she is in fear again. Oh my gosh, the fear is back. Oh, surprise, she's afraid and now she's being negative. Then you're going to keep seeing that. But if you can go, all right, look, she's trying. Okay, there's progress. And you can start to, pick up the pieces of, but that was a good try and the effort is there. And yeah, she's in a bad mood, but she's still trying. If you can change what you're looking for and start to identify the positives, you can start to mirror that back. Because if you're like rolling your eyes every time she doesn't go for a skill, she's expecting for you to be let down. And that's going to reinforce the negativity. Okay, and that leads us into number 4, which is find the positives that are beneath the behavior that's driving you crazy. Now, one thing I do with athletes, especially ones that I find are really negative because they have low self-esteem, which can happen especially when you're having a lot of fear, you're having setbacks on skills that you feel like you should be able to do well. I have kids write down everything they don't like about themselves. And oh, it breaks my heart. But like all those negative thoughts that they think about themselves, things that you don't like about yourself. And this is something I obviously would do with somebody after I'd built a certain level of trust, because this is a very vulnerable exercise. So parents, you'll know if this is something you could try with your kid at this point or not. But athletes, you can even try this on your own. Write down every single thing that you don't like about yourself. I don't like the way this looks, and I don't like the way I am like that, and I don't like that I'm insecure, and I don't like, whatever that list is of like deep, dark secrets, things you don't like about yourself. Then you look at the other side and you ask, what's good about that? And that question, you're like, there's nothing good about like feeling ugly, but you can always go, well, what's beautiful? If you feel ugly, what's beautiful? What is it? You have pretty eyes. Great. Write that down. Or I'm insecure. And then the good about that might be I'm cautious. I like to be safe. I keep myself safe. Then you can always find some silver lining for every single thing you don't like about yourself. And same goes for a kid who's driving you nuts. If your kid is like being sassy and being rude and feeling like seeming like they're not really trying, figure out what is that stubbornness. Great, they're strong-willed. They're going to be really great in business someday. Find the good part in it, and then you can start to focus your energy on that so that you can cultivate that for them. Number 5, put yourself in her shoes. Now, especially when you're dealing with an adolescent, that's like somebody from 10 to 13 specifically, but really all young ladies and young men are very socially motivated, and often when they're having a struggle with a skill that they should have, they get very worried about the social consequences. People are going to leave me behind. My friends are going to move up a level and I'm not going to move up with them. My coach is going to get mad at me. People aren't going to like me. All of those things are so devastating for somebody who's just figuring out who they are in the world. If their friends aren't with them, if they're not feeling supported, if they're not feeling like a part of, that can be devastating. So if you can take a second and go, okay, what would it be like to be 13 and watch my friends getting better than me and feel upset and feel like I'm trying as hard as I possibly can and this just isn't getting better, what would it be like to feel that way? Then you can have more empathy. Then you can like take it a little easier. And I know it sounds like this coach really is, but sometimes just, saying, what would it be like to be this kid right now, can give you a whole lot of perspective. And for kids dealing with grumpy coaches, same deal. What would it be like to be in this person's shoes right now? What must it be like for them? It can really open up your perspective and allow you to be a lot more empathetic and compassionate. Number 6, boost their confidence in different ways. So if you're giving them positives and they're just like, no, it's not true, no, I'll never get it, then okay, don't give it to them in that way. You can ask a teammate to buddy up with them and have them kind of coach them. I've done this before when I was coaching, where I'd go, you two, you're buddies, and I'd take the super positive kid and put them with the negative kid. And like usually a peer can get through to someone who's struggling better than an adult can in situations like that, because they're right there on the same level. I also I love to team up kids, one that had just gotten through a fear with one who's struggling with one, because then it reinforces what worked for the kid who's getting out of it, and they've got a lot of experience they can share directly on that topic. I always would team up kids who had the same problem. If like both of you have your legs bent on this skill, go fix each other. And then they could, because they were in their bodies feeling it and problem solving with each other. So if you can build their confidence by teaming them up with the right person, maybe you're not the right person to get them out of it, but who is? Try to figure out who is. Is there something creative we can do? Remember their past successes. Now, they might not want to talk about it and be like, no, I never did that before. I don't think it was like that. But you can go like, hey, good, that looked a lot like when you were doing it successfully last summer. You're on the right track. If you can kind of spark what was going well, facts, that's going to help too. And imagery. This is something I do a lot in the community too. I have a bunch of trainings on it, that they visualize doing something successfully. That can definitely help build confidence, but you have to do it the right way. And now number 7, and I think this is probably the most important one, let go of the outcome. If you know that you've done everything you can, you know that you're pouring your heart into it, you're getting out of your comfort zone as a coach, as a parent, as a teammate, you've done everything you can, you have to let it go. Because some people would rather be stuck than move forward. And I hate that, because I'm the kind of person I was like, I want to fix everybody. I want to get everybody's problem solved. I want everyone to be happy. But there are some people who are just more committed to being stuck. For some people, that's a lower risk than moving through it. And negativity is like their safety zone. So if you know that you've done everything you can, then you cannot take it personally. You have to know that that kid's got their own process, and you've done what you can. You can keep looking on the bright side. You can keep praising their progress. You can love them unconditionally, and then let it go. If they're going to struggle, then that's their life lesson. That's going to be their teacher that will help them as they move through into becoming a better human. All right, so like I said, if you want to get in with the Perform Happy community while I have this brief open window next week, hop on the waitlist right now, performhappy.com/waitlist. Those of you who are already members, I hope you are thrilled with the new setup. I know I am, and I'm open to any suggestions that can continue to make it a better environment for online courses, live trainings, community where we all bring each other up. And if you have questions that you want answered live, go ahead and send them over to me at Rebecca@performhappy.com, and I'll be back here next Monday answering your questions. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you soon.